Mrs. Green Apple and the debut wide release mini album thing, Progressive. We are here on our track by track listen through, and we're down to Hibito Kimi, which is track 5 of 6. And do you know what? What actually really made me laugh when I opened this up is because when it comes to Mrs. Green Apple, they're so incredibly popular that I do like looking at the numbers sometimes underneath the songs, because a lot of the bands, you know, who I work with and review, and the majority of what I deal with on this channel are very small bands where you'll look at their video and maybe it'll have like 3,000 views, maybe 20,000 views if it's doing well. And if it gets over 100,000 views, you think, wow, that's amazing. But of course, in the case of Mrs. Green Apple, you can have like track 5 on a relatively obscure, over 10-year-old mini album EP, and you scroll down, it's got 2.4 million views. It's not even got a video, it's just the audio. And that is what popularity looks like. The funny thing is, though, is that by the same token, I look at 2.4 million views, and by comparison to other Mrs. Green Apple things, I think, that's just nothing. Well, no one knows this song exists. Only 2.4 million views? What are you talking about? So anyway, I'm really looking forward to checking this out. I did actually notice as well, this is rather interesting, that this was uploaded 7 years ago. I mean, sometimes, especially with YouTube, and Japanese record companies' attitude towards YouTube, things were not always uploaded immediately. So some things have come around a little bit later. But considering that the album is now over 10 years old, and I think some of these, I think the music video was uploaded at the time. So yeah, I'm guessing that the music video for Nani O Nani O was that was uploaded in 2015, but then the audio seems to have been uploaded a few years later. This is not interesting. I don't know why. I'm just talking about this because I'm interested in kind of YouTube and like internet stuff. You're probably listening to this thinking, what is he going on about? Well, don't worry, because we're about to jump into listening to the song, which is what you're actually here for. So this is Hibito Kimi, track 5. Just as a quick recap, as always, I talk about how the album's been going so far. So far, definitely, this is pretty much exactly what I would expect in many ways. You've got all the signs of what was to come later from Mrs. Green Apple, but not quite as refined, but really charming in its more raw aspects. So yeah, let's see what Hibito Kimi brings to this. All the songs have been quite unique so far as well. So fingers crossed, what we're going to get here. I think Mrs. Green Apple have vocals on the first beat more than most bands. That's pretty. It's again. Listen to the immediate layering left and right side. Ooh, nice little rhythm shift there. Ooh, that guitar line is nice. The syncopation between the guitar and the drums there was so cool. Electric piano. That's pretty. The choice of sounds once again is superb. It's so weird to think this came out in 2015 before they had any albums, much fame. It just sounds like It sounds like so on the mark. If this song came out today, I would barely question it. Loving the way the drums are recorded on this album. You can really hear the kick drum. You can almost hear the padding inside the kick drum. I love that. This is really this is a really interesting song on a couple of levels. It's weird because this, where to even begin with this? It definitely, first and foremost, really enjoyable little kind of track, very nice. All the things I'd usually say about Mrs. Green Apple song. It's got the pretty melody. It's not overly, it's kind of easy to listen to. It's not overly complex, and yet there's lots of layering. Love the fact that you've got multiple keyboard sounds, the stereo use of guitars. Really enjoyed that little bit of syncopation in the middle where the guitar line was going alongside the drums. That was fun. Oh, I enjoyed that. There's so much about this which is really nice, and yet at the same time, this is definitely your quintessential album track. In the and I mean the good kind of album track, in that it definitely is the sort of song you can enjoy while it's on, but you can understand why it's not a single. It's not the catchiest. It's not quite the most unique. It's not quite the most eye-catching, or should I say ear-catching of the songs. It's just nice. It's just good. It's just an example of Mrs. Green Apple formula in a way that works. The thing which is rather interesting, though, is it did actually remind me of just something about the sound. In that sort of raw simplicity, it really got to the heart of what a lot of Mrs. Green Apple songs are about. And the funny thing, especially when you do track-by-track listen-throughs to a band, when, like on this channel, you listen to a lot of songs by one band, when you do the reviews, you're going to find yourself coming back to certain points because certain qualities are going to be ubiquitous throughout their back catalogue. And, so when I do these Mrs. Green Apple reactions, I'm more and more finding myself pointing out things you've probably heard me talk about before. Again, the stereo use of guitars. Again, the use of keyboard sounds. Again, the fact the vocals are nice and often use similar sort of scales. And all these kind of aspects you probably hear me talk about quite a lot. But it's interesting when you get a song like this that seems to just be refined down to those points. It seems to really just be almost like a very straightforward example of the core Mrs. Green Apple song going back early in their career. It's kind of inoffensively simple. It's very much, if you just imagined like a diagram of Mrs. Green Apple songs, and you've got the center here, and the center, whatever your scales, like experimentation, whatever it is, heavy, light, emotional, straight, wherever it is, this is like the song that sits right in the middle. It just seems to just be very much core Mrs. Green Apple, and that's quite interesting there. So I would feel almost like this is a song that I'm probably going to forget. It's probably not going to stick in my head. I'm probably not going to remember it, but it's a song that every time it comes around, I'm going to be like, yeah, that's a charming. It's just charmingly. I think the word innocuous can be seen as a pejorative, but it's charmingly inoffensive. It's charmingly almost unnoticeable. It just kind of does the formula right and nicely. It reminds me a little bit, actually. This is a bit of an obscure reference, but there's a band from a Canadian band from back in like the 90s and early 2000s called Bare Naked Ladies, and they like always have like more strange songs. Like the song One Week got them quite famous, but they would have a lot of songs on their album that would just be kind of, especially in their later days, they have a lot of songs like this where it would just kind of just be something inoffensively pretty. Just kind of like, there'd be nice use of keyboards, nice little sort of walking bass lines and things, and it would just be just pretty, but wouldn't stand out, just like that. And that's kind of where I feel this song fits in. And it's weird because it sounds like I'm damning it with faint praise, but in actuality, I feel like that's something nice to have on an album. It's not boring in the way that makes you want to skip. It's just kind of nice in the way that chills you out. And that's especially interesting because obviously this is the penultimate song. And then we got Wallflower next. Now, I don't know what direction Wallflower is going to go in. There's no real hints, as pretty much all the songs have very similar run times, and the name could be taken any number of ways. But I'm always intrigued by penultimate songs and even mini albums, because the penultimate song is the one that sets you up, and then the last song on the album will either be your final hurrah or the gentle final anthem or something like that. So this is an interesting song. It just kind of feels like this is a reset. I actually, despite the way what I'm saying might sound, I actually really enjoyed this. But I enjoyed it in a way that didn't grab my attention and make me go, ooh. I enjoyed it more in a way that just made me go, that's relaxing. It's relaxing and pretty. I've often found, actually, a lot of the music that other people find relaxing, and I'm told, oh, this is a really relaxing song. I tend to often find that a lot of relaxing songs, maybe I'm just I am an irritable person, but I tend to find most relaxing songs, I struggle. I find them a bit boring. I get a bit restless. Unless it's something like genuinely like that spaces you out, like sort of traditional Japanese music or classical music. If it's just kind of like a relaxing pop song, I tend to find those a little bit boring. This, however, this keeps it interesting just because of all the sounds, the layers of sounds. Everything's gentle, but it's just got layers of sound that keep you kind of feeling, your ears feel wrapped up and warm, and inoffensive, maybe unnoticeable, maybe forgettable, but pretty. And I like that. Yeah, I like this one. I thought this was nice. So Hibito Kimi, that's an interesting one. So I'm now really intrigued to see what we get for the final track, Wallflower. My feeling is it does feel to me like Mrs. Green Apple, at least from the two albums that I've obviously covered so far, as many years later as they are compared to this. Certainly my feeling is that Mrs. Green Apple have a propensity for writing albums as albums. And I feel like bands who do that will take that approach even to a mini album. So I'm always a great believer in that. I love that. As much as it's fun to listen to songs individually, it's great when you can put them all together and there's also an album experience to be had. So I imagine the last song, Wallflower, is going to be a last song in some way. In some way it is going to mark the end of the album, interestingly. So let's find out together in the next one of these. But until I hopefully see you either in the comments under this or in that video or in both. Until then, for now, ciao, ciao.